Yes, yes, yes,
All right.
everyone. Welcome to the Collective Bargaining Podcast.
That's
It's
right.
great to have you guys with us. As always, I'm Michael Hercules, and with me is the man himself, Mr. Atwi Campbell, ready to give you some questionable takes, I should say.
I'll refrain today, from going crazy,
For
especially
once,
since we might hopefully we don't get New York fans in the
oh
chat
boy,
today, man, because we
uh,
I mean,
might have to apologize to them.
Mr. Brunson
Might.
has been going off. Let's put it that way, and there's no denying this guy is on his way, man. He is on his way. If this is not the perfect way to announce yourself on the scene as a star in the league today, I don't know what way is, to be honest.
True.
He is on his way, man. Big buckets,
He's.
plays.
I'm trying to figure out if it's the defense that's just giving it to him, but he's getting those buckets.
He's getting the buckets, man.
He's getting the buckets. It's hard to deny. It's hard to deny the talent that he has.
Yeah,
It's difficult to say no.
can't deny it right now, man. You
40,
can't deny
40
it.
points is 40 points.
40 points is 40 points, man. That's the truth about it. Now, let me ask you the question, right? Because this has come up quite a bit. Is Jalen Brunson a star
Yes.
right now?
Yeah.
Is he a star? Okay.
Yeah, he's a star.
All right. Yeah. The league is probably smiling right now because you have LeBron over in Cleveland in the
West.
first row,
Oh,
and you still have the attention on the league and the playoff games that are happening right now. So for me, there's no denying that the talent and the fact that you have multiple stars that you could actually appoint as faces of the league. I don't think there's one particular direction that you have to go in. You have Brunson, you have guys like Jalen Brown, you have guys like
you really call it Jalen Brown?
yeah, you have guys like Embiid, you have Jamal Murray, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic.
Right.
There's a lot of them, right? So
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a
good place
plethora.
if you're the league. You're
Yeah,
looking at this telling yourself, well,
you're looking at it from the
wait,
point of view that Steph is out,
yeah,
LeBron is out in the first round, and you still have something entertaining to watch.
KD, Booker.
KD is out,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
there's a
your
lot of
top,
stars outside looking in right now, and
yeah, some of your top superstars are out,
yeah,
right? And the viewership is still up because these are some competitive games. Apart
they
from
are.
the Boston Cavaliers series, which nobody's talking about really, the rest of the series are, I must say, a must watch, because
Yeah,
that New York and Indiana series, even though New York pulls out the wins,
mm-hmm.
Indiana's still there.
yeah,
For the majority of the games, Indiana is there.
They can hold their heads high for this
Yeah.
entire series, right?
In
I
most
mean,
cases, in the two of the three games that they lost,
right?
it was close games, so it could have gone
absolutely.
either way.
Either way,
Mm.
either way. This has been an enjoyable series. Let's put it that way. And I almost feel like I'm watching college basketball in a way with some of these guys. It's college.
Yeah,
The
it
college
has a
game.
little
You
feel. It has a
sort
little
of
feel.
tune in, and it doesn't matter who's playing. You're looking
you
at
can just watch it.
competitive plays, and it's not. New York still goes to Brunson, but I like how they're being coached through this series. I like,
Yes.
each team is fighting for it. Everybody's bought in. There's defense, there's offense, and guys are still
The key
playing at
thing
a high
is
level, man.
guys know their roles.
Yeah.
And they're playing their roles.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. If guys know that they're definitive roles, and I think that's the difference between that and certain teams that have fallen off in the first round.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guys know their roles.
So Brunson is on his way to a record, right? He has 5 40-point games.
Yep.
What's the record he's chasing right now?
Is MJ's record?
I think it's LeBron's record, man. think it's Braun's
The
record.
most 40-point games in a playoff run.
I think so. I think that would either tie. He's approaching a tie, or he might pass him, given if they go on and win this series, depending on how they do against Boston. To me, I'm looking at Boston, man, coming out of that series, and
No, it's
the way
Michael
they
Jordan.
play. It's Michael Jordan, really.
Jordan did 2 times with six games of 40 points. Bernard King 6 as well, and Jalen Brunson is right there at 5 with 5 games.
I thought he was chasing
At
Braun
four-
for
at 40
some reason. Okay, yeah.
So he only has 1 more game to tie.
Yeah, that's interesting though. That's interesting. Yeah. So, well, it's New Yorkers are going to be very happy about it. The mere fact that you don't think so? New
Nah,
Yorkers?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, you mean they'll be happy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, naturally
of course.
happy.
Yeah.
Very happy. very, very happy.
But you've seen the confidence, right, through the roof, right? With the New Yorkers. So I mean, it's one of those things. But
New York and Philly is right here.
I'll give the edge to New Yorkers, man, when it comes to confidence and just their interpretation of where they think a team is gonna go. And there's nothing like New Yorkers, man.
All it takes is a couple of wins and they are ready to say they're in the NBA finals.
Oh my God. Well, I think, you know what? I made a prediction last week, right? And I honestly believe that I will have to change my that series, because I honestly, ahead of Boston playing in their series and it going 5 games where we are now with the New York Indiana series, I had Boston sweep in New York. At this time, I can't see a sweep. Especially with the way Boston has been playing.
I mean, the series isn't over, but okay.
I know. But I'm looking at Tatum's body language, man, and just the way he's playing, and
is he cruising?
I don't think so. That's what I want to get to, because I thought it was more, you go through a couple games, but you're just taking it easy. We alluded to that last week, right?
Yeah.
We thought he was more, we're winning anyways, I don't have to step
up.
But
I don't need to step up yet.
Him play, I don't think it's cruising.
I think
it's a struggle.
I watched him play the last game.
What's your thoughts?
They still settle for threes a lot. I don't know if it's because KP is not there, right? Kristaps. I don't know if he's because he's not there and he's basically their post,
right?
Their post presence, so makes them more balanced. But you take him out of the lineup and all of a sudden they don't know what to do but shoot threes. And I'm like,
they fall apart, man. They fall apart. And that worries me for a team that I call the most balanced team in the league.
Yeah, because they were the most balanced team in the league.
I'm a bit concerned. But when you see a balanced team, what I'm suggesting as well is that you could slot in the players outside of the top 2 guys.
Correct.
And you have the perfect balance where you could bring in and out players. But we're talking about one player that's now out, and
he's not even the first or second option. He's the third option, basically.
Exactly. So I don't know what to say. Pertaining to that. It's a bit concerning, and we made some strong predictions when it came to Boston. And for me right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to have to step back from calling it a sweep if they were to play New York. I would say...
I don't know. Because Boston, they also have the tendency to play down to their opponent.
The competition, yeah.
Right? So it's like, I always take it like a grain of sand. So it's like, I know y'all can play better.
Right. But that opens the door to
upset.
A guy like Brunson stepping up and looking like a certain guy, short guy in a Warriors team that upset the Dallas Mavericks, right? So I'm just saying, you have guys working hard on both sides of the floor, right? When it comes to the ball that they're playing right now.
True.
And if Brunson continues, if this, again, people have been calling, I noticed some people say it's a fluke. I'm not calling it a fluke. You're not going to sustain this level of performance and call it a fluke. That's just not the case. So for
Not
me,
a fluke anymore.
no, it's not a fluke, man. It's not just a hot streak we're looking at. We're looking at a guy that's determined, has the skill level. A lot of people don't like the way he plays, how ball dominant he is, the type of plays and how he sets up his offense. I get that. But he's a walking bucket. He's a exactly. We pretty much said the same thing. He's a walking bucket, right? So at the end of the day, you just have to respect that. You just have to.
All that matters is that you get buckets.
That's what I'm saying. Now, something came up. I'm not trying to reverse to my take last year. We've moved on from this Boston.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
No. We're not. I'm not going to step back because I've seen enough from Brown to know that I'll leave it for another year before I even try to reverse that. So I'm going to give it time.
Wow.
He's going to work on the other hand, man. That's all I'm saying. So here's the thing. Last year, do you know that in the playoffs, Jason Tatum has a negative plus-minus?
Yes, I remember that.
That's wild. Now, do you know last year, Jaylen Brown averaged more points for the team?
Okay.
In the playoffs. In the entirety of the playoffs.
Well, I could believe that because in the finals, he was injured. So he wasn't performing as he should. Okay.
But even if you take the average, right? We're working with averages here.
Why
right?
do you think he's a $300 million man?
No. Now, here's the thing. This year, do you know Jaylen Brown has a better plus-minus?
Yes.
Jason Tatum is averaging similar to last year, right? Now, you're starting to hear a lot of noise, right? In all the forums, etc. They're showing you that he may not be that guy that you think he is. Now, I still have a little bit of faith. He's
exactly who we think he is.
Now, I saw a comment saying he's the Michael Jordan of...
oh, God.
I
saw it. He's the Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris is... Listen, man. Here's the problem. Here's why that's so funny, right? It might be true.
No, it's not. Stop this.
No. Here's the thing. Stop. Tobias Harris's upside. We're not talking about his average, right? We're talking about his upside.
The upside, okay.
The best of Tobias Harris is a guy that could shoot elite from the three. He can rebound. He can give you maybe a little bit of assists here. But primarily, he's supposed to be an offensive player, right?
Right.
Now, again, we're taking only the best traits from Tobias Harris. Now, I want you to look at Tatum over the last 2 years and tell me that's not true, man. Tell me that's not true. If you are denying that, then you're lying. You're lying about the situation.
When has Tobias Harris ever averaged all of these points?
Listen, we're just taking the best moments of Tobias Harris. Okay?
Best moments.
That's why they said that's. I know it's. I don't even know how you sit down and come up with even.
I didn't know how you come up
like
with that.
The Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris's.
I don't know how you got it.
I mean, it's disgusting. That's what it is. It's actually disgusting, But when you look at Tatum, when you look at what was expected, we're not talking about his high side, his upside. We're talking about what you've been getting in moments that matter for the past 2 years. It's a bit worrying. Inability to close.
He's exactly who we think he is. He does exactly the same thing. He does exactly the same thing every year, with little to no improvements thus far. The problem was he started his career basically in the playoffs.
Right.
So every year we're expecting him to get better. While he does get better, yes, he's not taking that tremendous leap that we expect him to take.
It's not. But he's still young. He's still young.
Exactly.
How old is he right now? He's what, 25?
I think he's 26. Hold on.
26. So I mean,
Sure.
So I mean, if you
26.
consider his, so he's young. He's young.
Yeah.
I mean, if
He's
you
about
look
to
at
enter his prime.
Somebody say actually
My
Kurt,
rich
shout
friend.
out to Kurt, man. He called me his
Yes,
rich
Kurt.
friend, man.
It's not me. I think he's watching the
Shout out
mirror.
to Kurt. Definitely, man. So definitely, I mean, what I would say is I'm a bit disappointed because honestly, I was expecting a bit more out of him by this stage. Even though he's young, I'm
Yeah.
still expecting some leaps in
You
shooting.
expected a leap. I mean,
consistent-
he's gradually gotten better every year, right?
Yeah.
So you can't deny that he's not gotten better. He's gotten
But
better.
his-
It's just the
but his
problem is
problem-
the leaps.
Right. And the problem is you're playing for the Boston Celtics, one of the winningest franchise in the league itself. So if you're not winning now, you entered, as you said, his first year, he came on the scene in the playoffs. You know, he is expected to deliver at that level where, it's like, okay, where's this guy? Where's this consistency? When you start making commercials in Kobe's shirt and you're a Boston player, come on, what do you expect? It comes with the territory,
You have
man.
to remember, he was a Lakers fan growing up.
And that's fine. But the moment you start posing in Kobe's epic fadeaway pose in an NBA commercial, what do you expect?
True.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If they don't win the title this year, again, we're gonna go right back to that conversation we had, right? If we go back to them not winning, and if they run into trouble against a New York, which I still think is highly unlikely, I still think they're gonna lose a couple games to New York, but
Right.
I think they balance out, they make it out the series at this point. But if that happens where they get in trouble, and if there is an upset, to me, you have to look at breaking this up. I know a lot of
No.
people allude to the age. These guys are not improving, man. Come on, they're not gonna improve.
No,
Tatum is not gonna become that
there's nobody
player.
else. There's nobody else. So who are you trading? Are you getting rid of
Well, that's
the three?
that's
Who you-
another big question in itself.
Oh.
When I say break it up, doesn't mean I've thought about who you're gonna shift, right? Who you're gonna move, right? That's
So what are you doing?
I mean, I honestly feel like, well, you have to look at the big two, what you can get back in return. I think for a player like Tatum, you could get some really nice pieces out there. You could even have a superstar trade for somebody like that, because other teams will still believe.
Superstar?
Yeah, I think so. If
What
you're
team is trading away their superstar in this day and age with
Tatum?
few
For
superstars
Tatum?
right now?
for Tatum, you can get a direct swap. I think for a guy like Tatum.
Of who? Who's
Well,
trading Tatum?
let's look
Who's
around the
trading
league,
for
right?
Tatum?
Let's look
go.
around the league. Depends on who we're calling a
So
superstar.
call,
right, in
call,
the
us,
league.
call superstars. That's what I was about to say. Like, who's
Okay,
the superstar
Well,
right now?
to me, if
Steph
you're
Curry?
looking, no, well, he's aged, so I would consider that wouldn't be a good swap because now you're trading for a guy you're only gonna get maybe 2 years out of. But that might be a good trade for the Warriors because the Warriors may not mind grabbing a guy like Tatum and sort of shifting the build that the current
is correct.
Warriors have around, right? So, but given Curry's brand power and all of that and the value to the city, they probably wouldn't do that. But
Nope.
it makes sense to shift in the direction of a younger star. But anyways, let's focus on the younger stars.
Okay.
You have a few markets right now, right? In a year to 2 years, where you're gonna have stars that want to play in a bigger market, where those franchises won't have the power of negotiation. It's gonna be player power, and when those guys decide they're ready to move, you either take the value you get, or
Mhm.
you're not gonna get anything for it, and you risk losing them for nothing, right? So let's take a look at those stars that qualify in those markets, right?
All right.
We could
Go ahead.
look at Memphis right now. So right now,
So we
Ja,
got Ja Morant.
they're going
Okay.
through a rebuild, right?
So they're not trading Ja.
Here's the thing. If Ja gets to a point where he's had enough, seen enough, he's gone through different rebuilds, right? They're gonna try again this time. If it gets to the point where Ja wants to play in a bigger market, if I'm Ja and I'm looking at Memphis, I'm sorry. Like, it's all good to do cartwheels and all the cool dances, but at the end of the day, you want to be on national TV as much as possible as an NBA player. He might be
Okay.
looking at the situation like, you know what? It's time for me to go to a bigger market. I'm not resigning. I want you guys to trade me. And these players have enough power right now where they could come in and do this 2 years in advance of their contract expiring.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
you give exactly. So that's one potential market.
All right.
Let's
The only
take a look. Go ahead. You go ahead. I know
think
you know
about
where
this
I'm
one.
going. So go ahead.
No, I know where you're going with it. All right.
Right,
So the
right.
only thing I could see right now that could probably go superstar for superstar,
Right.
based on the criteria you're basically just listed. Somebody who wants to get out to maybe a bigger market to extend, get some more playing time see himself on TV.
Right.
Zion Williamson.
I was going Zion as well. New Orleans. Small
Right?
market.
That's the only one I can think of that you could probably trade.
There's
for
another.
him.
There's another that will come up in a couple years.
Or Jaylen Brown.
There's another one cooking in a couple years that's gonna come up. It may not. It's not gonna be next year, based on where he is. But
Right.
a guy that's starring right now that's bigger than that market. He's starring right now, and will be leaving that market guaranteed. There's no way. I will
Donovan
bet
Mitchell.
you money that Ant-Man is not staying in Minnesota for his career. And if he does, wow. That's all I will say. This guy is going to do his best for that squad. And when the time comes, he's going to request to leave. Because there's, I'm sorry, man. Even if you're putting Minnesota on national TV because of this guy, he needs to be in a bigger market, right? This guy's going to be
Probably
playing
better
for
teammates.
LA, Golden State, New York, Miami,
Chicago.
He's going to be in one of those in maybe 4 years, 4 or 5 years. He's going to buy this time now. He's really young, right? He's about 23. So by the time he hits
22.
maybe 20, yeah. So by the time he's 26, he's gone, man. That's it. That's it. Especially if they haven't won multiple titles or anything like that.
They're not going
he's
to win
gone.
multiple titles.
Well, exactly. So, but he may not be a candidate because of the timeline, right? If you're talking breaking up Boston, then Zion would be a perfect example, because to me, he's not staying in that market. Now, so I think Boston will trade Tatum ahead of Jaylen Brown. And a lot of people would say, you're crazy for that. Well, there's a reason for that. Right? I think it's easier to pair a guy like Jaylen Brown because of what he does on the court.
What does he do?
Another star. Come on, man. Come on.
Please, come enlighten me.
Well, how do you?
What does Jaylen Brown do better than Jason Tatum?
Okay, score the basketball. When you're the top scorer for 2 playoff runs in a row, ladies and gentlemen listening, then we can say that you score the ball better than the next player. I'm still waiting for Jason Tatum to even have a. I'm still waiting for your boy to have a positive plus minus in the playoffs over the last 2 years. Check me back when he does, okay? Please. And don't come and tell me he has a positive +1, okay? Because that's not counting here. Pull up the stats, man. Pull it up for us. I know it sounds crazy, and I know I sound out of my mind to say that, they would trade Jason Tatum first. But right now, if we were to look at how they play right now, you would be crazy to trade Jaylen Brown ahead of Jason Tatum.
All right, so based on averages, right?
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Jason Tatum in his playoff career, so this is all his...
I don't want to hear about playoff career, man. Give me the last 2 years, man. Why are you giving me... Listen.
All right, fine. Yeah, let's do the last 2 years. Okay? Let's do the last 2 years. So not counting this year, right?
Yeah.
So in 2021, 2022, he averaged 25, 6, and 6.
Okay. That's Tatum.
Yeah, it's Tatum. Last year, he averaged 27, 10, and 5. All right. You won this year too as well?
Give me the comparison, man. Who's averaging more?
So let's go to Jaylen Brown now. From 21-22, he averaged 23, 6, and 3. And then last year, 22, 5, and 3. This year, Jaylen Brown is averaging 24, 6, and 2. And Tatum is averaging 24, 10, and 5. And you're telling me that they're going to trade Jason Tatum before?
Listen. You stick with the more consistent
I don't care about plus minus. I care about production on the court. Okay?
Listen, man.
You stat boys are always.
No. But what's he? If he's averaging that, what's his percentage? How much shots is he putting up to make that? I'm sure we're looking at a more efficient player. That's why we look at a plus minus. That's why we look at the PERs and those type of things. You have to, man. Come on. You're telling me.
So 42%, okay. 42%, 46%, 41%. That's Jason Tatum the last 3 years. All right. Damn.
Thank you. I rest my case.
Jaylen Brown, 47%, 49%, and this year 56%.
Thank you. You see the leap? That's, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a leap in performance. So you have a guy that's now shooting 56%, almost close to 60%, right? And you're telling me you're going to trade the guy that's giving you nearly 60% on shots versus a guy that's giving you close to 40%, right? That is insane. That is what we call a leap in performance. Right. Now, and if you check the advanced stats, it gets worse. It gets worse. The more you look into Tatum as a player, that's why you're starting to see all these forums, and Boston forums, by the way, that are not happy with his performance, by the way. I'm not talking about Boston. All the other...
Yeah. The Boston forums are lit. Your mic's off, actually. My apologies, everyone. This doesn't happen very often. Or often at all. Basketball. Yes, basketball is business. I just want to give people an update on the scores tonight because the Boston Celtics is playing Cleveland Cavaliers, who doesn't have Mr. Mitchell or any significant role players, and they're basically killing the Cleveland Cavaliers 101-87. Donovan Mitchell is out again. Chris LeVert is out. They're missing a couple of guys here, and that's interesting. I think they probably would have put up a better fight if everybody was a little healthy, but that's how the playoff goes. You gotta have some luck. So right now, Boston is pretty much up 101-87. 6 minutes to go in the quarter. It's safe to say they might close this one out and have their stage at the conference finals. What's up, Adrian? Where you at? After this, we have... What are the games we have tonight? All right, so later on tonight, we have the Mavericks versus the Thunder. Pretty good series. Can't complain about that series. It's been pretty tight. The only problem is Luka seems to be a little injured for some reason. And he's just not coming back in. He's just not getting the groove in the game anymore. You okay there, Atway? Still having some mic issues. It's unfortunate. Nothing. Nope. Refresh, bro. Refresh. It's okay.
All right. You can hear me now, right?
Oh, yeah, we good.
All right, I'm back. Now, I was asking you, so there's been a little bit of a buzz when it comes to Bron and Paul George, and what they would potentially do. And, you know, there's a lot of buzz. A lot of people think with his son, who's doing really good in the combine, by the way.
Yeah, he did well today.
Yeah, he did. He stepped up, man. So my whole thing is, I'll let you talk first on what you think happens with those two guys. Where you think they end up?
Uh
By the way, before you
honest.
start, don't mind
Oh,
me.
God.
It's called a mango nada. I'm gonna help
Don't
myself right now.
do what he says. Don't
You
mind him
want-
whatsoever.
Mhm.
All right, so I think legit. It's been they tried it at the Clippers, right? So it's obviously not working. So the difference is though, they're not young like they used to be. They're not like Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum young. They were a little older. They both reached their primes basically, and you came together afterwards. It was like that D Wade and LeBron coming together for that 4 years to try
Right.
something to win some championships. Nothing happened. All right, I can't keep
Move on.
doing the same thing over and over
Yeah, keep it
because
moving.
I've already grown. Let's go. And I think
Right.
honestly, we spoke on this last week. I think like one of the best places for him is the Dallas Mavericks. Right?
Yeah, that makes them dangerous, man.
Right?
That
Because
makes
he
them
doesn't have to be a
dangerous.
second option.
Yeah,
Well, he could switch between the second and third option because Kyrie doesn't mind defaulting.
doesn't
at
mind
times.
sharing the. Yeah.
He
He
really
doesn't,
doesn't
mind at
mind.
all. He doesn't mind at
Right.
all, man.
It's a
Which is
shock to-
crazy,
this a
right?
shock-
Given his
yeah,
talent,
it's a
right?
shock
Yeah,
to a
it's-
lot of people.
yeah,
that
it doesn't make sense
he
at all
doesn't mind.
on paper.
Like, he doesn't mind sharing the rock, so he doesn't have a problem being 2 or 3. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great fit for the Dallas Mavericks.
I would
And
hate for that to happen.
I don't
man.
know how. I would love for that to happen.
I
I
would
don't know
hate
how
for that to happen, man.
they're gonna have it. So I don't know. Right? That's the only thing I could think of right now. The best place for him. It's
If
either
I'm-
there or he goes to the 76 or he goes to the 76ers.
That would be crazy as well, man.
Right?
That's crazy. A piece
I
like
don't know
that
how they're gonna make the
kicking around, man.
salaries work. That's the only thing.
That would be crazy. And I hope it doesn't pull out for either one of those because either one of those situations immediately makes those teams. I mean, for me, I would be, if I'm a player and I'm looking for a championship, my first championship, I am not going to the 76ers because I'm looking at Embiid.
Oh.
I'm looking at
Okay.
multiple years now. It's not that I question his talent, but at this point, I have no faith in his ability to go through a playoff round. I
Well,
just
to
go
stay on
through
the
the
court.
playoffs. Exactly. So
Mm.
when I need you the most, you're not available. That's not gonna happen. So at the end of the day, I think I would avoid the 76ers as a star.
Didn't we
If I'm
have
thinking-
this same conversation when AD used to get injured all the time?
Yeah, we
And then what happened?
we did, but AD stepped up in a way that, you know, AD played how many games this season and was healthy all the way through the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Embiid, it's not really, I mean, we don't see signs of any improvement. I remember he was
Back
playing
from an
injured as
injury
well.
that wasn't supposed to come back from.
Right. But we're seeing this every season. Like this seems chronic to me, you know? And
Okay.
I don't know if it's just his body weight distribution. He is
Maybe.
shaped a bit different to, let's say, a guy like 80 is a slim guy, like just, but you could
Missed
tell,
glass.
you know, yeah, Embiid seems a bit heavier, rounded, you know, and that's not a problem. That maybe that's just his natural body, etc. Right? But maybe he might have to consider, you know, slimming down even more, taking some
So-
weight off the knees and
I have a
wherever he's
question-
getting
I have a
injured
question
to help
for
the
you.
situation. Yeah,
So if you have to choose between Embiid or Zion based on their injury history, which one would you prefer
I'm going
to
Zion.
play with?
I'm going Zion.
Ooh,
Because
Wow.
here's why. I think I understand Zion's problem. You know, and the disciplinary issues, and I've seen what he could do in a short space of time to where he could change. We both
time.
know Zion is a generational talent, man.
yes.
But we also seen that he has a discipline issue when it comes to his weight. And I think the
Mhm.
issues that he ran into were still sort of lingering, so to speak. He's not 100%. You don't just go from half the season looking average to all of a sudden you cut some weight and you're ready to go. The body probably needed
Yeah.
some more time to ramp up.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
so to me, I think next season, now that he's seen that, okay, Doesn't matter if it's AD, LeBron I'm facing, I can
I'm in there.
completely dominate. I think he
Mhm.
comes back with a sense of purpose. But I think honestly he needs to get out to New Orleans. I would
I
be
think so too.
pushing. I think he needs to get out to that market,
But
man.
let's not forget, New Orleans is trying to keep him, and they're trying to trade Brandon Ingram
Yeah,
to put some more pieces around him.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I've even seen Ingram associated with the Lakers potentially as a
I don't think
third
that's a good
option.
fit, but
I'm not sure if that's a good fit, man. I'm not
It's not.
sure. I would be looking for Paul George, man, if I'm LA, man. Honestly, I know it's a crosstown thing and he played for the Clippers, but honestly,
it don't matter.
since Cleveland, I've been saying you pair Paul George with Braun. Jesus.
He didn't want to play with
it's
LeBron.
over. Which is crazy. Because his game would benefit so much. The space that this guy would get. We've seen Braun just tell Kyrie, there you go, man.
Do your thing,
Take it home. Who wouldn't want that situation?
Paul George.
Doesn't make sense. It's crazy that he turned that down.
Hey, well,
And here
it's
we
true,
are.
because he went all over the place instead of coming to the Lakers.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So yeah, but I mean he's a bit older now, of course, and you're taking a risk by still not going with a younger star. I know you brought up Levine. I saw you brought up like a hypothetical trade. And the problem with so what was your trade, by the way, if you don't mind telling everybody on the stream? What was your actual trade? I'm gonna take
I
another
forgot about that. Let me
dose of
just
the
find it
mango nada, by the
real
way.
quick.
Frozen mango with tamarind. Tamarind, sorry. But it's really good. So I know you had D'Lo in there, and you may have had. Did you have Hachimura as part of the deal as well? So I think we lost him, by the way. If you're tuned in, you are tuned into the Collective Bargaining Podcast. I think I just lost my co-host, who is frozen right now. But he came up with a trade that I'm going to actually find the trade and let you guys know in the meantime while he reconnects to the stream. So he had Levine. You're back now. So you had Levine for...
I had Levine for Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt.
Okay. Now the first problem I had with the trade is I don't see D'Lo actually re-signing a contract when he's an unrestricted free agent to come back and help the Lakers in a sign and trade, because you're not gonna lose that
you
leverage.
pointed the finger at me.
Exactly. I just don't see it. Unless, and if you do see it, what it's meant is that the Lakers have agreed to send him where he wants to go. They just want to make sure they maximize value, and they're probably looking at it now. If they realize they just can't get something to work, then they would probably ask him, well, hey, depending on the team that you have some sort of preliminary agreement with, let's see if we could get some value back from it at least. So there's that type of arrangement that could be done. But honestly, I don't see him going back from being a unrestricted free agent, man. That's just not something that I...
Because the Lakers have, I think they have said in a report I read today that the Lakers are going to be actively pursuing to get the guy from the Hawks. And I don't mean Trae Young. I mean the other guard from the Hawks. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yep.
So I'm not sure how they're gonna do it and all the pieces that they have to go send for him. So it's gonna be a little tough.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially without D'Lo signed.
It's weird because the Hawks have two basically great point guards, right?
Yeah.
And Murray is he's not a Trae Young, but he's very good. He's a very good all-around basketball player.
Yeah.
Great defensively. He can ball if he needs to.
He can
He can
finish.
score.
He can finish
He
if
can
he needs
finish,
to.
right?
Yeah,
If he needs to. The only problem is he doesn't have the outside shooting like
that's
Trey,
true.
right?
It's very true.
And the Hawks have been in a lot of trade talks because they're thinking about blowing up both of them, or maybe just one.
Yeah.
So because the experiment was tried and it failed, so one has to go.
Right.
So are you going to give up Trey or are you going to give up Murray?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because I've seen both guys do some incredible things, man, at different points. You know, it's unfortunate that it didn't work out because I think like you could have a situation because these guys don't seem to mind each other. They've had some friction in certain games, but I don't mind the way they're, you know, I don't mind their backcourt play. And to have two gifted guys in your backcourt that can do so much, you needed to fill out the rest of your team with the talent.
Because they basically complement each other.
They do in many great ways too, you know. You have the shooting with the mid-range, you have the finishing, both could finish, so it doesn't matter who. You have a nightmare scenario where you have two guys that could finish. Fill out the rest of your team, man, and get the balance right. That was the problem. So the Hawks are making, in my books, a mistake. Either one of these guys is going to be valuable out there. In fact, I think the Spurs are going to come right back and try to get Murray. Because if you could get a Murray
trade, though.
Right. If you could come back, you could grab Murray and let go of some of the younger talent that's not going to shift the needle, and you pair him with that alien you have down there, then you could make some noise. You could win some games that you were close in during the season, right? And now
they were close in a lot of games.
That's what I'm saying. And that kid is a problem. You know, so I would say you pair him with one or two. Yeah. So Spurs will make some noise. And Pop's probably looking at this saying, you know what? We could make a playoff run, man. If I could get two. Because if I'm them, I'm looking at a forward. Let me tell you who I'm going after. If I'm them.
Oh, boy. Paul George?
And it depends. I was just about to say, you get Murray, get a Paul George, and Wembanyama. And tell me you're not winning games with that squad with a decent enough bench. You have the youth to go with it already. Your vet is Paul George. Who wouldn't want Paul George, right? And now you have an active point guard that could give you buckets and finish the game if they need to, right? That's a scary squad, man. And that's one built for the future as well. Now, I would still go back to the fact that Spurs need another big.
Just in case.
So, yes. And here's the thing, right? Here's a funny thing. I don't know who will go first, but there's another French big man that is going to go early in the draft. Spurs went how much in the lottery, by the way? You know who I'm talking about. There's another kid out there that is a stud right now that is going to go early in the draft. Now, were the Spurs they're top 5 in the draft, right? I believe so. We could look it up. We like to give people the accuracy. So let's see what's going on here. So if we search NBA draft lottery,
why is it taking so long?
All right, so draft lottery wise, we got Atlanta, then Washington, then we have Houston and San Antonio at 4. So that's dangerous, man. That's dangerous, right? So I would say, what you could see is...
Don't forget, San Antonio has 2 picks, see? Because they got that...
They have 4 and 8, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at that. I think it was the Toronto... I think they had the Toronto pick.
Wow. So look at that. To me, you look at the landscape, you hold the pick until you realize, okay, that's not happening, but you hold a trade in your pocket and trade up for that pick if you know you're not getting something that's going to shift the needle.
You see, the problem is this draft class is not very strong.
It's not strong, but you have some gems. And what I'm saying, it's enough. It's just enough where you could pull a trade for a star that's getting older. So a Paul George guy, I mean, Clips, the problem with the Clips is, remember, the problem with the Clips is that you have to wonder: are the Clips going to rebuild, or are they going to keep Kawhi and try to win now? Try to continue winning now.
Well,
That's
Kawhi's
gonna
already
be up-
extended, so
Right. So he's
they're
extended.
gonna try
Hard-
to keep
Harden was
him
on a 1 year, right? So he's
Yeah.
gone. Right.
Not necessarily, but yeah, okay.
Right. Or coming back for cheap, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the fourth pick, I'm saying you try to. Is Paul George? Is he a free agent, unrestricted, or is he opting out? Expected to opt out? That's what I don't know. So that's gonna determine, what could happen here potentially. Because if he's, who knows? Maybe he tries to help them out, get some value behind the trade, and they get some pieces.
Well, he's
But I think
eligible for a 4-year extension.
Okay, he
Right.
is. So maybe he takes the
He
money,
basically
man. Given
has the yeah.
Yeah, so I could see him resigning and taking the money over, going somewhere
yeah.
else, and
He has a player option for the next season. So
yeah. So I think Paul George probably is a good chance he stays. But I would say San Antonio would be a good fit for him, man. You're playing with a young stud that is arguably should have been the defensive
I
player
still
of the
think the
year.
Mavs are a better fit, but I see what you're saying.
I don't want the Mavs getting anything, man. But I get it. It's a scary fit down in Dallas, man. It's a scary fit because you're looking at two top 10 skill players in the league right now.
Yes.
One top 5.
Two?
Well,
Only
no.
two?
Well, no. I wasn't even thinking of Luka, but what I'm saying
Okay,
is,
fair
yeah, raw skill. I think that's a scary mix, man. Put in Paul George with Kyrie. That is scary.
Just
man.
think of the team that they have right now, as in the Mavs.
Yeah.
Look at them play, and you
Yeah.
just add Paul George to that. You
Yeah,
might-
that's
somebody
ridiculous.
has to go, but you add Paul George to that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can't discount what the bench does for Dallas, right? So that's one of the
No.
things where you would have to kind of make sure you're not losing the right pieces.
Not losing
You
too much,
have-
but
Yeah.
got to keep the balance.
You have to. You have
Keep
to.
the balance.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be interesting to see. Now, do you see Braun leaving LA? So we talked
No.
about Paul George. Do you see Braun leaving LA?
LeBron's not going anywhere.
So he takes the money.
Well, the thing is, he has two options. He's either he could
Mhm.
opt out of his contract,
Right.
but if he opts out, he can only come back for like 48 or something like that.
Right.
But if he takes the 2-year extension, he can get 50 mil next
Yeah,
season
You can. Yeah.
or something like that. So does he want the money? He doesn't really need the money.
No, he
So-
doesn't at this point. But
So
I still-
think he probably. I don't know.
I-
Do you
I-
take the
I
money
see him
or do
opting
you
out.
take-
I see him opting out, and then taking, because he's probably gonna look at the fact that, okay, I'm older, more susceptible to injuries. So with the injury risk,
Don't you
you
secure the
you
bag?
take the longer,
first?
you get the guaranteed money, man. So you go for the 3-year, you opt out and go for the 3-year contract, so you're good all the
Yeah.
way through. The only problem is this, right? At this stage, if you're really chasing 5, man, opt out and take less money, man. I know he has no reason to do so. He's been enough.
Yeah,
he's done
he's
enough for the
very-
game of basketball and everything. But
And
to
his
be honest,
endorsements are gonna pay anyway. So
right. So I would have taken less to make it work with another bona fide star. I do not want to see LeBron waiting for Levine to come back after a 2-week injury every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I just, trust me, man.
you know what's
listen.
interesting? I thought about the other day as you say this. Remember Kawhi was supposed to go to LA
Yeah.
to the Lakers?
Yeah.
So you could imagine how distraught
Crazy that
Laker
would've been.
fans would have been
Not having him around. Yeah, I'm telling
not
you.
having
man.
it around at all.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things, man. I genuinely see, Braun taking the 3 years, potentially not taking less money, which would be sad because now you're left with D'Lo not resigning, and thus you have less value to actually make a trade. But so, man, it's a sticky situation, man.
I don't know.
Sticky
Yeah.
situation.
He's not.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think he's going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then, so he's not going anywhere. They're going to have AD still. The problem was last year was the coaching. They brought it down basically to the coaching, right?
Yeah.
because they took out D'Lo and Austin Reeves from the starting lineup because they weren't playing great. But
Yeah.
what happened when LeBron and them weren't playing great? You don't take them
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's fine. They're the star players. You don't take them out. Cool, right? Then there's some guys who are playing well. You don't play them.
You don't play
Some
them.
guys not
play
playing
them.
well, and you play them. And
This
then
guy's rotation, man. This guy's
and his
rotation.
rotations. I mean,
didn't make
we used to kill Frank Vogel for his rotations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they were better.
Let me tell you, man, I have never seen a franchise waste a great career like this team. And they did the same thing for some of Kobe's years.
Yes.
You know, this franchise, right, is a chronic time waster when it comes to acting in
only
a timely
because
manner.
Dr. Busk passed away. Ever since he passed away, they've been wasting time.
We know what they've been doing. Yeah, it's
Wasting time.
been atrocious, man. And I hate to say it, but they wasted so much of Bron's career, man. And we saw some of Kobe's healthy career go by without just watching him every night lay his body on the line.
Yeah, lay his body on the line. Yeah.
By himself, ladies and gentlemen.
No help.
Dropping, and they were just like, oh, you know what? You remember you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, Kobe dropped 60 again. Oh, Kobe dropped 40 again. You know? Yeah, sure. But who you gonna add to help him out in the West?
Nobody.
Right?
Nobody.
And then you're surprised when he after all these years of going crazy,
Gets injured.
right? He gets injured.
Body
Come
just
on,
breaks down.
man. Come on. And listen, if he didn't get injured, what many people don't realize is they were about to do the same thing to him after the pretty much 2010, 2011, right?
Oh, yeah.
They were on the same road. They weren't going to make any changes, and they were going to do
nothing.
the same thing. Yeah.
They weren't
So
going to do nothing.
what I do believe, though, I have a suspicion that we would have gotten to see him and Bron had he been able to play. Because I think, honestly, if he didn't get that injury, then he plays healthy for a couple more years before, and his down, in other words, his cliff would have came a little later, I believe. Because I think he was playing in pain for a lot of years. I think he just watched the game. He was never, to himself, he was never the same. To us, we're like, how this man doing this after injury? But to him, he was never the same. And to him, that was it for him, you know? Yeah. So I think we would have gotten
he had a lot of injuries throughout the years.
A lot, man. A lot.
He used to play through a lot of injuries and that he didn't even know that he had.
Yeah.
So it was when the body just started to break down one after the other.
That's it.
There's only so much rehab and mental.
Yeah.
What do you have to go through these things?
So I think if you get 2018, 2019 Bron coming in, remember, 2018 Bron is to me the GOAT, right? That's
I don't see that happening.
I've ever seen.
Okay.
But he leaves Cleveland because remember, this man wanted to play for LA for a long time. You know, he just went back to Cleveland because he made a promise he wanted to fulfill that. Once he got that in 2016, it was like, all right, cool. You know, we might try again, but honestly, I want to go to LA. That's where it is. And I feel like that would have extended Kobe's career, and maybe at the tail end you would have gotten something where you would have seen them together maybe for 2 years or so.
The Chris Paul trade could have extended Kobe's career.
Very true. Very true. Very true. But I think a Bron combination would have been scary, man.
Listen, I don't think people understand, right?
Yeah.
A Kobe Bryant and LeBron James combination is one of the deadliest combinations you would ever find. If you think Dwayne Wade and LeBron James were anything close to LeBron James and Kobe Bryant being together, I don't think y'all understand.
Not close, man. It's not close, man.
I don't think you understand.
All respect to Flash, right? But I'll tell you now, the level of finishing, the level of shot making, it's not close, man. The disparity in that Dwayne Wade's game is actually
it's similar to LeBron's game.
It's very. I was just about to say, a prime and healthy Dwayne Wade doesn't want to play with Bron.
No,
because of how ball dominant he is, and you know how much of the ball he needs to thrive in his game. You understand? What we saw in Miami was actually an already injured Wade. it just went south even more in the second year, right?
Mhm.
So what I would say is a Kobe firing on all cylinders with the shot making,
With a
isolation, and you have an athletic Braun flying all
and you have
over the court.
LeBron.
What do you think is going to happen? Come on.
You have all around the LeBron. Yo, that's
Yeah,
a
no, that's
playground.
playground, man. Playground. All-star
Playground
game
basketball.
every night, man.
Every year.
All-star every year.
Hey,
Yeah,
they're in
yeah,
the All-Star game every year. They're in
yeah.
the finals every year.
It's very true. It's very true, man. Very true. So
Yeah.
for me, I think it's kind of sad that it came to an end like that. And I think if LA had left that roster from the pandemic alone, just leave it alone, man. I don't know what's going through Rob's mind, man. And I hate to talk about LA this much, but I can't help it, man. That roster
the thing is, you
was
saw so much
good.
potential.
That roster was so good.
The one thing they teach you in about being a GM and stuff that I saw a long time ago is that if a team wins a chip, there's no reason to break up that team.
You leave it alone.
Unless you're adding like one more solid piece. You leave it alone until they prove that they cannot win again. If they cannot win again, then you upgrade.
He broke it up completely
after one season.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
After the toughest competition in basketball, because the bubble is apparently the toughest competition in basketball.
It's crazy.
I think Rob missed Kobe's advice for that one because he wasn't there.
This is wild. The fact that he broke up that team. You had some great centers to move around with, some bodies.
You had McGee.
Yeah, man, flying all over the court. They weren't creating space problems for Braun. That's what I don't really understand. Maybe you could have added a shooter, to the squad.
You had KCP and he was getting better.
Yeah, and KCP was doing his thing. You had a defender in Caruso on the perimeter.
Correct.
KCP was creating noise. I mean, you just gotta hold your head, man. You just have to hold your head, So I think they goofed up. I think they goofed up Braun's legacy in LA. I think they really.
Of course, Kyron would say that. Of course, Kyron would say that.
He didn't take Braun's advice, man. Come on, he did his own thing, man. He thought he was honoring Kobe, man. He was trying to stop him from getting to 5, man. He was trying to stop him from getting to 5.
That's what it is. That makes sense now.
Yeah, man. But man, I didn't even think we would have seen Kyron, man. I think he was over there taking in the desert last time I saw, man. Some pyramids and stuff, So shout out to Kyron. I know you were out in Egypt or something, man. So definitely looks like you're back in the building, Good to have you back.
Somewhere far.
Yeah. Definitely good to have you back, man. But yeah, it's so I would say, we're gonna get crowned a champion. It looks like Denver is back in the conversation.
Back to back.
I was staying 5 games. I was even calling for a sweep.
I said 5 as well.
Man.
Well, you might get a sweep. You might get a backward sweep.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's 4 games straight.
All right. So you could get it right. But remember, I said last week I said if the Timberwolves continue to play like they did in the first 2 games, they will win. They have not played the way they played in the first 2 games. Especially Cat. Cat is the main contributor to them losing the last 2 games.
Very true. We talked about him.
Right? And he has been non-existent. 12 points in the last 2 games. You can't win. You can't win when he's only giving you 12 points.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And he has to step up. So Kyron was saying, yes, sir, I'm back in town for a short while. Was out in Dubai and Saudi Arabia. Man,
look at you.
Man.
Look at you.
Yeah, man, I see you, man. I see you out there, man. Hopefully the weather was great out there, But those are the places to be, man. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Welcome back, though. Welcome back. And he's saying it's a short while, so I'm guessing he's dipping to another parts of the world pretty soon, too. So
he might be coming home again.
Yeah. We might have to catch up with you because I know you just had a recent signing as well, right? So we might have to talk about that pretty soon, too, on the show. So
yes.
We're looking forward to getting an update from you on that as well. Yeah, man. So No, it's going to be interesting, right? The
Mhm.
playoff situation right now. So I think that you will see some form of I think T Wolves putting up a fight. I think they're going to respond.
They have no choice.
Yeah, they have to respond now, right? So,
They have no
but
choice.
Jokic going off the way he did in the last
Oh,
game.
that
I
was
mean,
crazy.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
he was unstoppable that last game.
yeah. I mean, he was given
Double
Kobe
team.
treatment, man. It didn't
Sh-
matter.
It didn't make a difference.
Yeah,
Hand in the face.
yeah. It didn't matter.
He was making
It didn't matter.
everything.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Everything.
Yeah.
That was
So, but yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes, right? I'm calling 7 games right now. I'm saying this goes to 7. I don't think Cat remains silent for the rest of the series. I think
mean, Cat is
you're
a
gonna see
baby.
some.
I
you're
now
gonna
see
see
why
some-
Jimmy did what Jimmy did.
I mean,
Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy, man. Yeah, Jimmy will actually feed off your energy, and he will see right through you. And
Oh,
if the energy is not right, yeah. And I mean, it's
mean,
kind of
yeah.
like reminiscent, right, of that Eagles. Was it the Eagles game, or was he in Chiefs? So Adrian, pretty much, in that last game in a uniform, pretty much in the NFL, where he's just like, "See ya," and keeps walking off the field.
He's walking
I
off.
get a sense that when Jimmy did that practice, man, when he was
Yeah. He knew he
shouting
was
at them,
gone.
he knew he was gone. In that moment, he was like, "See ya, man. I'm not doing this with these guys,
Yeah.
man. These guys are not ready."
Yeah.
So, so it's interesting that it would end up like that, and then for Philly to drop the ball on Jimmy, because Jimmy is exactly the type of player that Philly needs right now.
Facts.
In that, so it's kind of really, just crazy that they would actually end up in a scenario like that, where you don't have that true option, and you take Tobias Harris over Jimmy. Make it make sense, aka Jason Tatum. Yeah, like crazy. I know you don't like to hear that, but hey, it is what it is. By the way, we gotta plug something. We gotta plug something into the show. So you can move on to the next topic. I'll actually bring it in.
Oh, word. All
I'll
right,
actually
cool.
bring it in. Yeah.
So I have it's really a question, a ranking system basically. So we're gonna rank the last 5 number 1 picks if they were all in one draft,
Okay.
right? So just to clear for everyone, the last 5 number 1 picks in the NBA draft, right?
Mm.
We'll start from the latest one was Zion Williamson, then it was Anthony Edwards, then it was Cade Cunningham, then Paolo, who's on the Magic, if most people know, and then obviously the alien himself, Victor Wembanyama. So you're gonna rank them. We're gonna pick as if they were all in a draft. In this draft, who are you gonna pick first?
You said, so I need those names one more time.
Zion Williamson.
All right. So you said Zion.
Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Paolo Banchero, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And Victor Wembanyama.
All right. So Zion, Wemby. Okay. Cool. So 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
I think this is easy.
He said
Yeah,
easy.
I think this
Okay.
is easy. This is easy.
Okay, so give me in reverse order. I know it's too easy to
Start
do
at
number
5.
1.
Start
So
at
give me
start at
number
5.
5.
Start at 5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you Cade at 5.
That's fair.
I will give you Paulo at number 4.
Ooh. Okay.
Can't put Paulo above any of those guys based on their upside right now. If we're drafting, you said we're drafting, right? So
We're
looking at
drafting.
upside,
Yeah, we're drafting. Yeah.
right? And so Paulo at number 4.
So it's number 3.
I'm gonna go with. You're not gonna like this pick, but right now, based on upside, I'm giving you Ant.
Ooh.
At number 3. Yeah. I'm giving you Zion at number 2. I'm giving you Wemby at
I was
number 1.
about to say.
Yeah.
Okay,
The reason
that's fair.
is this, right? A lot of people will look at what Ant is doing in these playoffs and tell you, nah, this guy is the next Jordan. This guy should be number one. But that's not the situation. The situation is that, you have to look at his overall
Listen
game.
to
You
your
have to look at,
rationale.
yeah, no, and you have to look at what he's done in the regular seasons and prior seasons, right? And he's not there yet. He's not there yet. He does a lot of nice things that you expect of a star. He's becoming a star, but he's not there yet. And I'm looking at the upside for the other guys. Wemby is a walking defensive player. He should have been the defensive player of the year right now. I mean, there's no way you put anyone on that list of him.
You're a stat guy. You're supposed to have stats for this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but what I would say,
I know, but I mean,
when
based
you
on
have
the
a
stats,
guy
they
that
said
can
he
give
was
you
better.
20, if you have a guy that could give you 20, 13, and 3 blocks a game or 2 blocks a game.
3 point.
Yeah, that's your number one pick right there. That's your number one pick, and in your first season, right? It's your number one pick right there.
And may I add, it was on limited minutes.
That's what I'm saying. So that's your guy right there. How do you even challenge that ranking order? Maybe you could argue Ant and Zion, but I would still say Zion healthy is a better player than Ant right now. For now.
A healthy Zion is better than Ant.
Yeah.
Okay.
You agree, or I'm not sure if to take that as sarcasm.
No.
I'm just checking, man. I'm just checking.
No, a healthy Zion is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Most people don't know. I'm very high on Zion.
Right. Yeah. No. I'm high on him. But Wemby is just.
Oh no. Wemby is obviously number one.
He's just different, man. He's just different. So
Wemby is number one by far.
Yeah.
We got. It was a toss up for me between Zion and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Okay.
I did have Cade at number 5, and I did have Paolo at number 4.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. I mean, I would say Paolo's showing in the playoffs stuff.
No, I said Cade at 5. Cade at 5.
Oh, you said Cade at 5. Okay.
Yeah, and Paolo at 4. Yeah.
Okay, so we agreed on that.
I didn't. Yeah.
We had the same. Yeah. Okay.
So the only up for debate for me was Ant and Zion.
That makes sense. I could see you going in that direction. That's interesting though. It's a nice. Wemby is one, man. There's no disputing that. But I could see you looking at Ant's trajectory right now, and just
on last year based on
I could see you making a case for that. So I'm gonna share something real quick, and this is just so people can actually attend. This is the Kellan Batiste Foundation Basketball Development Camp, and this is happening from May 29th to the 31st, 2024. So that's really soon. It's happening at the Grand Anse Sporting Complex. So I'm going to zoom in here so you could just see it a little bit better. So just to understand the people in the image. So you're going to have Coach Gary Maitland, who is a professional skills coach from the UK. You're going to have Ethan Thomas, who we've had on the show. He is a retired NBA player from the Washington Wizards. He played with some of arguably the second greatest player in the history of the game of basketball. Okay.
You mean Black Jesus? Just say Black Jesus.
Well, yeah, Black Jesus, right? So definitely
the greatest player of all time.
Arguably the second greatest player of all time. You could kind of argue between him second and third, between Kareem and Jordan.
He's the GOAT.
So definitely the GOAT of the 90s, let's call it that. The watered down 90s, by the way, when the league had how many extended teams.
This man said watered down.
Yeah, man. It's one thing to play against people in the 80s and get swept and then turn around when those players get older and play plumbers until Kobe Bryant and all those guys come in, right? So anyways, we're not going to derail. We're not going to derail this right now. But this is the Kellan Batiste Foundation Basketball Development Camp. You're going to have Etan, who is amazing, I would say, former player of the NBA. He's going to be in Grenada at the Grand Anse Sporting Complex, so head out there. You can't miss that. You're going to have Enel out there, who's captain of the Panola College men's basketball team. We've had him on the show as well. So he's going to have a lot of insight. He plays at the college level, had a wonderful run in the NCJAA tournament. And so you already have like 3 excellent mentors and people that can guide you at the camp. And then you have also Coach Aaron Williams, who's the assistant coach at Panola College. So you're going to actually have, a college coach down in Grenada to help you through the camp as well. And Malcolm Thomas, who is the Villanova University D1 college rep that's going to be down there as well. So they're going to have eyes on. You're going to have people with connections looking at your performance. So definitely be there. If you know someone that's very skilled at basketball, that really doesn't have a way forward, etc., tell them about this. Take a snapshot, share it on WhatsApp, put it out there, because when you have eyes on people that are part of the NCAA network and scouts and people that have links to scouts that can put you on, that's an immediate opportunity, So definitely let's take advantage of that. And definitely be out there on May 29th to the 31st, 2004 at the Grand Anse Sporting Complex. Okay. Take a snapshot, as I said, and definitely attend. All right. Cool. All right. So we're back. So pretty much, it's. And I apologize to all the. By the way, we have a comment here. It says Ant is number 2. Maybe a toss up between Ant and Wemby. Whoa,
that's one of the wildest takes
Whoa.
I've ever seen.
That's Ant and Wemby for 1.
That's
Zion
the
having
wildest
well,
take.
definitely. If you're doing it based on Zion's health, then sure. But you have to remember the question, right? The question was, this is a draft. So what we're assuming is that everybody's healthy, right?
That's
and
right.
There's no way you're telling me Ant is more dominant than a healthy Zion. There's no way, Adrian. You're telling me
nobody stops Zion.
No, man. Come on, man. Let me tell you, there's a lot happening right now that people are looking over. I'm not saying that Adrian is looking over that, right? But I'm just saying that Ant's game, right, and the way he's been thriving is a result of a lot of the players and what they're actually doing in the system around him, right? It's a lot more than what he's actually doing. Like, if you look at the game, he's not necessarily dominating to the point at which we saw Zion in that short spell dominate, right? There's a difference in the dominance that we're talking about. Look at Wemby when he's dominating a game, and tell me you put Ant in that same level of dominance. Don't get me wrong. Ant has had some really good games, especially across these playoffs. But there's no way you're telling me he's above those 2 guys if healthy, and you have to take part in a draft and you're not aware of any chronic injuries that any of these guys have with the current upsides that they have. How do you put Ant above those guys, man? I don't think you can. And maybe Ant progresses, right? If he still continues on that line of progression, then yeah, sure. Maybe we come back and we say later on. But if I have to go off of what I know and the level of dominance I've seen, come on, man. Come on. I'm not sure we could do that. Okay. But hey, that's the way it is, man. But I think it's an interesting take, man. But I mean, it shows, right? Some people view Ant and the way he's been playing Ant-Man as the top guy, man. The guy that should be the future face right now.
It's basically recency bias. That's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think he's had some great spells and he's shown what he could do. And the footwork, the tendency, the finishing, you get some flashes, right? You do get some flashes, but I absolutely hate the MJ comparisons, man.
There's no such thing.
I don't see it. I don't see it that way at all, and
it just starts out of nowhere.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if he continues to work on his game, the tools are there, the bag is there, definitely. But we need to see it at that level of dominance. And come on, Ant was not as dominant as I would say a healthy Zion or a Wemby. So if I got to pick between those guys. I really thought Paulo would be higher on the list by now, but we'll
It's
have
all
to
right.
see. Maybe
He's getting there. He's getting there.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
getting
yeah.
there.
Yeah, and there we go. Alana says the same thing. She hates the MJ
Yeah.
comparisons as well. I
You
don't
that.
like it. I don't like it. I think we're putting a lot on this kid, man. And
A lot of pressure
you
just
know,
for that.
it's
Like,
yeah,
one
just
thing.
yeah. He does a couple things with his footwork and his mentality. You could tell that he's trying to appear to be very, Mamba-ish in a way, or Mamba-esque in a way. But let's give him time, man. Let's give him time. I don't think he's doing
He has a lot
himself
of
any
time.
favors, by the way, with it, because a lot of this comes back to bite you in the end. You know what I mean? So
I
I'm
mean,
hoping
he says he doesn't want it, so it's
Right,
He doesn't
right.
think so. Like, I understand.
right. Yeah, so that's good that he's pushing that off and not playing around with it, because that could bite you. Anytime you start making, you're only a couple years and you start talking that MJ stuff, then you're setting yourself up for a lot of hate, a lot of expectations. I mean, when you're out there trying to call yourself, or people comparing you to the second greatest, arguably third greatest player of all time, then yeah, you're putting yourself in trouble. So yeah. Gotta jab it, man. Allow players to define themselves. I love it. Allow players. That's the best way to put it. Allow them to craft out their own legacy and define themselves. That's the way it should be. So why not, right? So I agree with that. So let me ask you.
Okay.
You have to put 3 players to be the face of the league next year. Who do you go with?
Ooh.
You gotta select 3 players. Who do you go with as the face of the league?
Damn.
Come on, Mr. Silva, Mike Silva.
This is tough.
Come on, man. Give me
3
man.
players.
3 players, man. 3 players. Yeah. Face of the league.
Ooh. Damn. Now, that's tough.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
I mean, you could go. Honestly, I could probably go with Ant as one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he also has a kind of personality for it. It's not just about choosing guys.
So Kyron
Yeah.
stated Wemby, Tatum, Jokic.
I don't want Tatum there.
Yeah, Tatum can be the face of the league.
Tatum
Tate-
can be the face of it.
There's no way you put in and we got another Tatum vote.
Tatum.
How
Morant.
are we? You know what? Hold on one second, man. We gotta pause this for a second here, man. How is Tatum, a guy who is not even the top guy on his team right now,
Stop
being
this.
carried
Stop.
around?
Stop this.
That's
stop it,
not
stop it.
consistent. How are we
Stop it,
making him the
stop it.
face of the league? What has he done to actually get that notion?
Stop it. Well, okay.
I mean,
yeah, this is true.
Teddy's
this is
right.
true.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Teddy's
I
right.
agree there. So,
yeah.
so we got Wemby, Tatum, Jokic. I don't have a problem with the.
Yeah, but
Wemby or
Wemby's
the
an
Jokic.
international player. Yeah.
They qualify as international players, and
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that international players have been the dominant factor, but you look at the sales, the attention. It's
I mean, you can still go with Steph, eh?
still go with Steph, yeah. But Steph's getting older, man. You need another
Yeah.
face. That's the question. We need
That's the thing.
3 faces.
You got Ant. You have Ant.
So they have to be below 30. So that eliminates Paul George, I believe.
Yes,
So from Lana, your suggestions,
30.
I would say Giannis. You could go with Giannis, Haliburton, of
yeah,
course.
but
That-
Giannis
that's-
is international.
but-
Are we only taking
Yeah.
American players?
No, we could go with international, but what I'm saying is probably harder to make an international player the face of the league, right?
It is.
It's very hard to do that. So because remember, that's the guy that's pushing the sales, pushing the I don't know, like national TV numbers for you, etc. When a game is on, and I wonder how many people are actually tuning in to see Milwaukee play, man. I'm not sure. Even with Dame out there, I'm not sure. So Giannis, Haliburton, Paul George. Paul George to me is on his way out. So I don't see him
I
being
mean,
an actual face.
yes, you could probably put Halliburton. I don't.
You could.
I
You
don't
could.
think he's. I don't.
You got Tatum again from Teddy. I think that's a mistake, honestly. I don't see how you make Tatum the face of the league. You know, too, let me tell you, that you can't make Tatum well, you said it yourself, right? You said it a couple of minutes ago. You can't make Tatum the face of the league. So,
Not gonna make it a face.
Tatum,
He
Morant,
doesn't have the personality for it.
you
He
would.
doesn't have the
So,
personality.
Teddy, here's the thing. You would take that gun-toting Memphis
Wow.
Jukin.
Gun-toting.
So Jukin, you know what Memphis Jukin is, right? That's an actual dance. So don't get me wrong.
It
here.
is a dance.
Before Memphis Jukin is
Yeah,
a
it is.
dance. So you gonna take that gun-toting Memphis Jukin player and put him as the face of your league after suspending him for like most of the last 2 seasons, right? So I don't think that happens.
I mean, to be fair, it's either it has to be Ant, Tyrese, and Ja Morant. Because don't forget, Ja was the face before all that. They were going to make Ja the face.
He was
before.
becoming right, but I don't think
Right?
that happens anymore. I don't think they touch him like that anymore.
Mm.
I think he still sells. Don't get me wrong, because he's a highlight. He's a walking highlight, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna still come back and wild out and try to jump over everyone. But what I'm saying, I would, if so, Tatum is well rounded, very marketable. He's also starting on. Wait. So here's the thing. Tatum not starting for Team USA.
Tatum is not starting.
He's not starting for Team USA.
he's
I
not
don't know
starting.
where you got that from, but let me tell you, there's no way in the world. How is Tatum? You seen the roster? Where you putting
Yes,
Tatum in that roster to start?
You got Steph, LeBron, KD. That's already 3.
Yeah, KD at the 4. So how you starting? Where you starting Tatum?
Most
You're not
likely
starting over
either
Braun.
80.
You say Google? That.
All right, let's go.
There's no way, man. Come
The
on.
USA Olympic.
They didn't announce the starters. I don't think so.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. No, they didn't announce the starters.
Yeah, no.
Tatum, but you can't start Embiid. Embiid injured. He's not starting either.
So AD is going to
So
start.
USA
at the
B starting lineup. They didn't announce the starters. He trolling us, man. He trolling us. They just announced the team. They didn't put it out there. But
There's no
you
starting
start
yet.
with. You have to
They
start
announce the
with.
starters when the season is over.
Yeah. You have to start with Steph, Braun,
LeBron,
KD. That's your core.
Yep.
And then at the shooting guard, right? Ant's
Devin
playing
Booker.
better than Tatum right now. So you're gonna put.
So
You're not
it's
putting.
either Booker or Ant
Yeah, that's it.
or Kawhi if he's healthy.
Or Kawhi. Yeah. So I don't. Teddy.
And then at center is either Anthony Davis, Bam, or Joel, and Joel is injured. So
Teddy, you know what I
Anthony
believe?
Davis.
I believe you put out that line there thinking that we wouldn't have pulled up Google. He was like, Google it right now. Thinking, you know what, these guys live, they pull it up a browser right on the show.
No, I have my stuff right here. Ted.
We have these browsers ready to go, man. So when you say Google right now, we on it. So keep that in mind. Well, when you say internationals, you could be
What exactly?
you could migrate and you could get your citizenship just
Yes.
like Embiid. Embiid, let me tell you, France is quite upset with Embiid because he was coming in from where?
He was
Cameroon,
coming,
right?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
So he was coming in from Cameroon. He made promises to the French international squad
that he's going to
and
be there.
that he's going to be there. And before you know it, we're hearing news bulletins that welcome Embiid to the USA B team, So
That's
he
crazy.
pulled and then he's what did he say? I forgot. You can look it up on Google. Play the video where he's explaining his decision. So the French players
Stupid.
and the French population are not liking Embiid right now. I think that would have been great for basketball for him to go to France.
But
because
the thing is, they would have been a 3-headed dragon. It would have been Rudy,
crazy,
Wemby, and Joel.
crazy. And you have other stars on the way from over there. That would have been
Oh, yeah.
a lovely
They have
squad to watch
The
go up
thing is,
against the US.
France has a big team.
Yeah.
I
It's going to be a problem regardless. But it's just at the skill level of the U.S. that they're coming with now, because they pretty much stacked the Avengers. So you're just not gonna.
I don't think this is the Avengers, but all right, cool.
Let me tell you, man. How you stopping a team with Steph, Braun, and with Braun probably going back to running the traditional point game, right? Point forward game. How are you stopping a squad like that? That's not a squad you're stopping, man.
How did Spain stop them?
He didn't stop this squad. You talking about the world championships that they lost? Come on, man. They stopped. What team was that? They stopped some. I don't know what they were thinking with that squad, but anyway,
I don't know either.
We're back to big time blowouts this time around. So stay tuned. The Olympics is gonna be wild. 140 to 60, and those type of scores all over again, man.
Speaking of blowouts, I just want to add that the Boston Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and have won their series and are now heading to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, they're gonna goof up with the New York Knicks. So good luck with that. Now, this is gonna be a classic show of Tatum not doing what you expect him to do, and Jaylen Brown having to strap him up on his back and carry him through a series. Just watch.
Not happening.
Just watch. And you know what? We're gonna up the stakes. If
we have stakes,
how about let's put this before we end the show today.
Okay.
If they face the Knicks, right?
All right.
And Jaylen Brown has a higher average in points for that series, win or lose, over Tatum.
Okay.
We're doing shots on the show. And we're using local products. Local
easy
Canadian
peasy.
products.
I'm taking
the show.
I'm taking that.
All right.
Bet.
All right.
Are we taking it? So
in
how
the
many shots
too,
though?
I'm inviting.
How many shots?
Doing 3.
Why only 3? Why don't we take a shot for every point?
It's not about putting ourselves
point
out there like
point differential. A shot for the point differential.
No. We could up it for the guests, because the guests. No, so that's why we're saying, Teddy. What we're saying is, we're not saying the Knicks will beat them, right? But we're saying, win or lose, whatever happens, right? We're looking at who outperforms who between Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? On the Celtics. If Jaylen Brown outscores and averages more points than Tatum,
not happening.
Then he effectively loses and has to start doing shots of a very strong Grenadian product on this show, right? Now we'll do it in a safe manner, of course, because we want to, of course, just drink responsibly and all those things, but we'll still have a good time. Now, you guys in the audience are actually allowed to come on for that special segment if that occurs, right? So I'm just putting it out there. Now, keep in mind, Jaylen Brown is scoring at a 56% clip versus 42.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying he's chugging up 30 points just to average 24, right?
Don't matter.
All right, cool.
You get spoiled with this modern day. Oh, your field goal percentage is 50%, shooting 40. Oh my God.
Are you in line for this bet, sir? Are we?
All
right, good.
I don't have a problem with it, because
okay.
That's not gonna happen.
All right, okay. So we good. The audience is
three
dead.
shots.
They heard it.
Three shots.
3 shots of something no less than 50%.
I don't have anything. I don't own anything less than 50%.
All right, cool. I mean, sometimes you gotta have a little black gold on the side or something. What do you mean so you don't have something smooth there that's less than 50%?
Of course I have something smooth, but I mean, like, exactly. I have Grenadian rum is over 50%. What Grenadian rum is under?
Yeah, you have rum that's under, man, from home.
I don't know what that is.
All right, but we'll deal with above 50%. I'm just making sure.
So under the counter, Rivers,
all those things count. All those things count.
I got all of that.
Under the counter, because you control the mix, you could have a soft under the counter mix there. So I'm not trusting that situation at all. So let's back away from that. It's gonna be based on the other stuff that's well known, that we could see the percentage on the bottle, right?
That's fair.
So 3, based on that series, shots. We'll have a special segment for that. Audience, you're invited. I know some of y'all in doubt, but definitely Alana saying you're gonna sweat, which I believe fully.
Doubt
Definitely, man. But definitely I want to, just shout out the audience today.
Yes, thank you
And
guys for taking.
just thanks for supporting the pod, and we will continue to deliver and just have fun with it. At the moment we were on a 10-show schedule, but we will obviously have to rethink
Extend
that
a little
with
bit.
with just the way things are going, and we'll continue to retool and try to get some others on. We had a few guests earlier in the season, right? But we're just sort of going at it back and forth now. And I think next what we want to try and do is get an audience member on, have like a barbershop conversation, maybe add 2 people on and just have a conversation about
Real
their
quick.
favorite players.
Doesn't have to be long. 5-10 minutes.
It doesn't have to be long. So if you're interested, definitely join us and we go from there. So look out for that. Send us a message or so, and tune in, man. At any point in time, we're on demand as well. You can find us on YouTube. So definitely, have fun with us. We go a long way back, and so the camaraderie is there. You're always gonna get a laugh. We talk about all sports. Right now, it's the playoffs, of course, but we talk about all sports, and we do have cool guests on the show that we try to bring on. So shout out to everyone, and you guys have a great night, and just thank you so much for the support.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate everybody, man. Lana, Terry, Teddy, sorry, and Cameron. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the Kellon Batiste Foundation Basketball Development Camp as well. That's going to be on. A lot of interesting folks going to be down there, so definitely head out there and support. And of course, we have sponsors that if you have something that you want sponsored on the show that you want us to talk about, just hit us up. We could work something out and put it out there. And if you want us to repeat it, we're at a stage where we're just trying to help the culture, help everybody, and support people, in what they're trying to do. So definitely let us know what's going on, and feel free to join us, man. All right.
Hey, anytime. Just let us know. Later, guys.
All right.